Hello everyone, Jorge Huertas once again with all of you. Today I'm gonna give you 10 recommendations of what not to do on projects and enterprises. Well, this video is basically based on my experience in this field, and I want to share with all of you because it's basically what I've been learning in the last couple of years as a professor, as a consultant, and as an entrepreneur. I have always noticed that the content that is created and make suggestions about this is not really of very high quality. So I'm trying to summarize in something very punctual. And basically, the objective of this video is to show the most common errors that entrepreneurs in their ventures and in their projects do when they are starting to develop their own business. Okay, so keeping this in mind, the first thing before I start explaining is that if you like our content, if you like our channel, please subscribe. That is a big help. Please turn on the bell, give us a like, help us to keep growing, and we really appreciate it. Okay, so the first thing that you need to keep in mind is that the majority of businessmen and entrepreneurs, they not they are not using the principle of user center and of design, and that is a huge mistake because if you want to develop a business idea, you want to develop your own thing, you have to keep in mind that it will be successful if the people participate, if the people is part of something. If you don't do that, of course it will be a huge problem. So always remember, you have to use user-centered of design in any kind of development, business idea, product, service. If you don't know what user-centered design is, please check it here in our channel because we got the video in Spanish and in English. The second thing is that many people believe that they know everything. They are know it all. And that is a big problem because when you got that kind of attitude, um, you believe that you basically know everything. And that's a big mistake because you can learn from everybody in any different kind of situations. And it's important to keep an open mind. When you got that mentality of a know it all, you don't accept any comments or any criticism of what you're doing, and that is a big concern. The third thing is that it's very important that if you want to find a consultant or an expert, is not just to validate your idea. The real job of that person, it will be to criticize and be very objective in something. Sometimes people want a consultant just to validate their idea. And the reality is that if they find out something that is not working or something that could be a problem, it is extremely important that you put everything on that and make those changes and do not take it personally. The fourth common mistake is that people like to develop their projects, their services, their business idea with intuition. And that is very problematic because they are not validating and they start all of their argumentation saying, I think this, or it seems to me that, when the reality you need to have data that allows you to corroborate the information that you could have with that. The fifth point is not doing rigorous research on all variables that can affect your business. If you want to start a business in something, you have to become an expert on that. And of course, you have to make a rigorous research. Some people, I mean, the majority, don't do that. And that is a big problem. That is a big mistake because if you are not an expert on your field, you will have a very bad time trying to put your business on the go. The sixth point, very important, is that sometimes when people make mistakes, they don't take to they don't take responsibility and they try to blame someone else. It was people, it was the situation. I really believe that it's common that everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to accept those mistakes, take responsibility and move on. But if instead of that you start to trying to blame somebody for that, it will be a huge problem. Pride and stubbornness and don't know how to listen and lack of soft skills is a big problem. And actually, as you can see, everything is highlighted here because I believe that this point is extremely important because when people got the know-it-all attitude, basically they are always people that are very pride, they are very stubborn, they don't listen, and they really don't have soft skills which are extremely important so you can communicate and people will understand and really allow you to work together as a team. Not to be patient and expect immediate results, it's something also very very common and people um get very anxious very quick. It's important to understand that develop a product, a service, a business idea, it takes time, is not easy, and it will take a lot of effort to be able to move on. So it's extremely important that you always keep in mind that everything is different and you can work in a way that's different as well. Use resources just because, and that is something very important. Many people believe that if you want to have a business model that is digital, you have to have your own website with your own uh, payment method. I strongly believe that you think that twice because, firstly, that is extremely expensive. Not everyone needs to develop their own application or their own websites. That's why there are like different marketplaces and different ways, especially if you are a small business, if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting, because that really allowed you to see things different. What happened with this is that sometimes people believe extremely strong, and that is why you have to keep in mind that is extremely important that not develop something that just because it's on trend and even though that you don't know very well how it will work. So it's extremely important that you keep that in mind. Don't use any de- don't develop your own website, don't develop your own app if you don't have community because people will not get over there. It will be a big spend, at least at the beginning of the business. The 10th point is that do not take criticism as something personal. That is probably one of the most important things. Sometimes perhaps people don't know how to say the things. However, that doesn't mean that they are not right or that could be on something. So try to keep an open mind. Do not take it harsh. Take it as a help or an input on your business. So that will be very important as well if you could develop that. These 10 points, I believe that are the most common errors when people are starting to develop their own business idea, their own product, or their own services. These recommendations are very important so you don't fail during the process. Try to be humble and learn to hear. That is very important because the majority of people like to talk, but they don't like to listen. So try to listen. You have to build your character and learn to work in these kind of situations that sometimes got a lot of pressures and different things that could happen. Thank you so much. I hope this was a big help in your education. Please subscribe to our channel, Design Thinking 24/7. Follow us on social media. Remember that every Monday we have a new video in Spanish and every Thursday a new video in English. Our Udemy courses are already available in the description of this video. Thank you so much and we'll see you next time.